Miss Na is going to share with us some of her favorite Indigenous books and movies.
Representation matters. Here are a few books written from the Native American perspective. These books are written by Indigenous authors and illustrators and feature Indigenous characters. We Are Water Protectors, written by Carol Lindstrom and illustrated by Michaela Goad, a book that inspires us to protect our planet's water from harm and corruption. Bow Wow Powwow, written by Brenda J. Child and illustrated by Jonathan Thunder. The story of Wendy Girl, her uncle, and her dog Itchy Boy, who attend a powwow. Later, Wendy falls asleep and dreams of a dog's powwow. Are these two books from Cherokee author Tracy Sorrell. We Are Grateful, a book that follows a full Cherokee year of celebrations. And At the Mountain's Base, a story of a family waiting for a loved one, a pilot, to return from war. Here are a few recommendations for TV shows and movies that center Indigenous characters and their stories. Molly of Denali, a show on PBS Kids about the daily adventures of 10-year-old Alaska native Molly Mabray, her family, her dog Suki, and her friends Tui and Trini. Pachamama, a movie about a young boy who dreams of becoming a shaman, who goes on an adventure with his friend and her pet llama to retrieve a small golden statue confiscated from their village by an Incan overlord.
The Nottoway Tribe of Virginia. The Nottoways' first recorded contact with the English colonist occurred in 1650 in present-day Sussex County, Virginia. The Nottoway were farmers and hunters, and their language was related to that of the Iroquois. Miss Shivani Hamlin. Pleasure to introduce you to Miss Shivani Hamlin of the Nottoway Tribe of Virginia. Good morning, Miss Hamlin. How are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. Good morning, Miss Robinson. Good to see you this morning.
You too. Tell me about your journey in learning about your Native American heritage.
Okay, well, just to give you a little background, my Native American blood comes from my father's side of the family. Growing up, I always was told that I had Native American blood, but that's as much as I knew at the time. That is until I met some of my distant family members, which is when my Native American journey really began.
And how has maintaining your Native American heritage enriched your life?
It's enriched it a lot in many ways because during this whole process, I have learned so much about my history and my ancestry and things like that. In order to become a tribal member, I had to do research on my genealogy. And that was when I started seeing documents and names and times and places of my ancestors and elders, which made them an active part of my my life. So that was a very spiritual experience and I enjoyed it greatly.
Is there anything from your culture that you would like to share with us today?
I sure would. Actually, today I have with me my powwow regalia. This regalia is a representation of who I am and the things that I like. Whenever you have someone make your regalia or you make it yourself, you always incorporate things and colors that you like or things that speak to you. So my favorite color, as you know, is teal and turquoise. So you see teal and turquoise throughout my regalia. This particular regalia is called a ribbon dress. They have several different kinds. One is and one is shawl, but dress and because it has ribbon adorned throughout. It has it's about 8 pieces. It has a dress and it has a skirt. I have my collar, which has beadwork on the front and the back. As well, I have a shawl, and the shawl has, as you see, sea turtles. My
Beautiful.
I love animals and I love water because and my birthday is in February. My color is amethyst. My birthstone color is amethyst. So I have incorporated the purple in that as well. But as you see, my shawl has fringe on the bottom,
Oh,
and
wow.
you see it's trimmed with ribbon as well. So that is my regalia, and of course, you can't have a regalia without having your moccasins. So
Oh,
these
wow. Those
are
are beautiful.
thanks. These are my powwow moccasins. I also, with your regalia, you also have a fan. So I have my fan with my regalia, and it also has a crown. So here is my crown, and if you see all of the beadwork that comes on my crown, these little teeny beads are called seed beads, and they are all beaded by hand. I also have a barrette that I wear in my hair.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you. And these are called braid wraps. They are made with suede, and they go when you braid your hair on the side or you braid your hair in the back, they go on the bottom of your braid, and you wear that with your regalia as well. I also have a bone choker that one of
Oh,
my
wow.
cousins made and gifted to me. He made this by hand. It's not made with real bone, but it is called a bone choker, and I cherish that very much. So I also have a beaded headband that I wear
Oh, wow.
sometimes, and it also has seed beads, and it is made with something called a bead and bead loom, and this is the beginning of a bracelet that I have also started to make. And like I was telling you, you have the ribbon dress, you have
Mhm.
the jingle dress, and the jingle dress has a whole bunch of little metal bells that jingle when you dance at the powwow. And this is another bell that I wear with my regalia because I don't have a jingle dress, but it goes on my ankle, and when I walk, it
Oh,
or
wow.
when I perform, it rings as well. So I really enjoy having that with my regalia. So these are some of my pieces that I brought with me today.
Oh, they're beautiful. Thank you for sharing those with us. Do you ever feel as though you live in two worlds, native and non-native?
Yes, sometimes I do. As you see, I'm African American and Native American. So both of those cultures are very much so a part of my everyday life. Prior to becoming a tribal member, I had only been to one powwow. However, now being part of a tribe, it is expected that you bond with the community, and powwows are a way that we do that. So I go to my annual powwow as well as I go to other powwows in other communities and learn about other tribes as well.
That's really interesting. Um, with that being said, do you have anything else that you would like to share with us about your tribe?
Sure. Just to give you a little background about my tribe, like I said, my tribe is the Nottoway Tribe of Virginia. It's a small tribe in Virginia, and we are named after the Nottoway River, which is a river that extends from Virginia all the way to North Carolina. It's
Oh, wow.
170 miles. Um, my tribe's goal is to not only educate the tribal members, but as well as educate the community and tell people about our history and our culture. So we are definitely a part of the community. And we do so by going to schools and talking to schools and being active and having workshops and things like that. We also take pride in the cleanup of the Nottoway River because
Mhm.
of pollution and things like that. We definitely make it a point to go out there a few times a year to clean up litter and trash on the bank line. So I really enjoyed that. And I really enjoy being a part of that community.
That is great, and it's fantastic all of the work you all do to save the environment. On behalf of J.O. Wilson Elementary School, I would like to thank you so much for participating in our Native American Heritage Month program.
I appreciate it. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to speaking with you today and sharing a little bit about my culture and my history. I really appreciate you taking that time out.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks, Ms. Robinson. See you later.
See you. Chief Lynette Alston receives the Nottoway Indians entering Jamestown, a painting gifted to the Nottoway Indian tribe of Virginia by artist Keith Rocco. Chief Lynette Alston also walks through the Air Force Junior ROTC Sabre Guard during the ceremony honoring Virginia's 11 Native American tribes. Akwesasne Mohawk. The Akwesasne Indian Reservation spans across the United States and Canada.
Hi, my name is James Abiyak and I am interviewing Miss David of the Ganyetgahaga Mohawk tribe.
Sego zawagwego, kajijias ne yungiat stano David de waksanazale. Wakskalewaga ni wagit de loda dana akwizasne ni de wagena. Ganyetgahaga ni wagahunjoda dana asta ni wasagyoto na de wagosiliago. Sayada lanagantala waksadaya, lanajahawi ne luayats. Dano, Sego gadewin stu hagene ungwawana.
Please pronounce your name and tell us what it means. What is the naming process?
My name's Gajijios. It means pretty flowers. And my clan is Bear. Because you get your clan from your mother. So then when you get your name, you're introduced to the world, the land, the animals, the water, the stars, the sun, everything. And that's where you get your rights to roam and to breathe on Turtle Island. So the process to get your name is you go by your clan, and you go to that clan mother or faith keeper that takes care of those names, and they'll ask you about like a birthing story. While you're pregnant, like did something significant happen, or when the baby was born, like the weather or anything like that, and then they can make a name through that. Then there's a process where you have to search the name to make sure nobody else has it and no other clan has it. And then once your name is all set, you go to a naming ceremony. And in the longhouse, they bring you up with your parents. They talk about your name, your clan, and then they introduce you to the community.
Thanks for sending us those wonderful pictures. Is there one Mohawk tradition that you would like to share with us?
For me, what I find is very important is to pass on any knowledge or skills that we have to the younger ones or the older ones, whoever wants to learn. So when I can, I usually will try to bring one of my nephews or nieces or somebody around to teach them. One time, my nephew, he was maybe 8 years old, maybe 7, and we had like 4 bushels of tomatoes that had just come in from the garden, and so we got him. I said, well, let's make some spaghetti sauce. So his sister, she washed the tomatoes and she blanched them. And then his grandmother, my nephew's grandmother, took all the skins off and chopped them up. And his mother also helped chop the tomatoes up. And then so my nephew, like I got all the ingredients ready for him. Like he had to chop up all the onions, the peppers, and I let him control like how small he wanted the vegetables or the onions, and he's like, very small. And I just laughed. And I said, that's all right. So I'm just giving you the tools, like this is the recipe, and you can decide on some stuff. And then it was like the cutest thing. He had his pot at the stove, and then I'm telling him the steps to make the spaghetti sauce. He's listening. He's putting all the stuff in there, and he's cooking the tomatoes down. He's got this big wooden spoon. He's got his chair up there. He's stirring the sauce, and I'm like, yeah, you gotta make sure it doesn't burn. But it was like he was like so proud and able to do all that stuff, and it was like shocking. And it was like so beautiful to watch. We're all working together and we're getting this sauce going. So much love we're putting into it. In the end, like with the help of his, our family working together, I think we canned like 40 quart jars of spaghetti sauce. And even the next day, we cleaned off the rim of the lid of the sauce, and that's what he put on there, Oyanolo's spaghetti sauce, which is his name. So I attached 2 pictures of there. You can see him, and he's holding that jar of spaghetti sauce, and it has his name on there and spaghetti sauce. And it was like the best spaghetti sauce ever that we ever made. And so when the sauce was made, I said, oh, well, what do you like to eat with your sauce? And he's like, oh, I don't even like spaghetti sauce. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we decided on making stuffed shells, because he's like, I like stuffed shells. So I don't know if it was a couple weeks later, we bought all the ingredients, and then we had another day, and we made stuffed shells with his sauce. So for me, I find it's important to, pass on those tools that we learn.
Please tell us about the picture of your father holding the sign.
The story behind the picture, you see my father, and he's holding a sign that says prisoner within our own Kanien'kehá:ka territory. Kanien'kehá:ka is people of the Flint, which refers to the Mohawks. There's 3 borders that run through Akwesasne: Quebec, New York, and Ontario. And in May 2009, Canada wanted to arm their custom agents with guns. And at the time, the Canadian border was right in Akwesasne. And next to the border was a basketball court, like a outdoor recreational park. And there was stores nearby, homes, and a school. So we didn't feel it was safe or necessary for them to be armed. The CBSA fled their port, and in turn it shut down the Canadian border. At that time, we had to travel by boat across the water to do our everyday business, to get to school, to get to work, vice versa. And then the hospital is in Cornwall. And so it was a struggle. And some people that had to drive, it took them like over an hour to cross the border at another port. So during that time, it was like 6 weeks this happened. There was 2 funerals that occurred that I'm aware of. There could have been more, I'm not sure. But there was one funeral that happened, and they went to the customs, to try to talk to them to see if they can open it, because we do our ceremonies on one side and we need to travel to the other side to finish the ceremony. And so that's where that sign came in, because we're not free to travel within our own community.
Please tell us about growing up as a traditional Mohawk and learning the language.
So growing up with the language, I was very fortunate. My father speaks fluently, and when he would work with me and my younger sister mostly, he would always speak to us in the language. And when he would visit his family and friends, that's all they would be speaking is Mohawk. And so we got to hear like the conversation since. And from pre-K to grade 8, I attended the Akwesasne Freedom School. And it's full-on immersion, not funded by the government. So our parents and us students, we worked very hard fundraising to keep this school going. And it was like a more hands-on curriculum. You know, we learned how to cook, we learned how to sew. A lot of the stuff that I learned, the hands-on stuff, I still do today. Like in the pictures, there's I made magazines, I make my own outfit. So I'm very grateful. Like I'm still using those skills today. In the pictures that I attached, you can see corn hanging, my little nephew in the garden, and my father and my nephews working on a porch. So it's just like how important that is, like to pass on everything. Like my father taught, my brother how to work, and then like he taught his sons, and now they're teaching my son. So it's like it came to a full circle. We're still teaching each other, and we're very fortunate. And we work together, like we have a garden. So a lot of that stuff in the picture that I showed you that it was all from the garden. So harvest it, and then I canned. And I always, get my nephew to help too, or whoever's around if they want to learn.
Thank you, Miss David.
My non-native name is Anthony Gray, and my Mohawk name is Galuyede, which means thick sky.
Mr. Gray's brothers are Bear Clan. His dad is Turtle Clan. His mom was Lithuanian and German, no clan.
The distinctive feature of the men's Haudenosaunee dress is the headgear. The Kustawa is a fitted hat made of strips of wood. The wood is then covered and adorned with eagle, hawk, pheasant, or turkey feathers. The Kustawa is also used to identify an individual's nation. Pictured is Chief and Medicine Man Eddie Gray, Mr. Anthony Gray's father.
The first game was played between the land animals and the flying animals. It was eventually used to solve disputes while playing to please the creator. Now it is used for sports. Iroquois nationals. One of Mr. Gray's superstitions is that he always reties his shoelaces before each game.
Tracy Gray, Nugets. Acquisition do Agategio. Asona. Kanyang Gahage na Gadot.
And this is some of the beadwork I've done in the past. I've learned from other beaders, like my cousin. This is traditional corn soup and fried bread made by the Mohawks. These are pictures from our traditional dancers and the powwow in Akwesasne.
Isleta Pueblo. It is my pleasure to introduce you to Miss Kristen Naw from the Isleta Pueblo. She is one of J.O.'s fantastic pre-K teachers. The Pueblo of Isleta is nestled in the scenic Rio Grande Valley, 15 miles south of Albuquerque, New Mexico. The name Isleta is Spanish for Little Island. The Spanish mission of St. Augustine de la Isleta was built in the Pueblo in 1612 by Spanish Catholic Franciscans. It is one of the oldest mission churches in the United States. The people of Isleta are known for their beautiful pottery and paintings. The official language of the Isleta is Tiwa. Traditional foods. Fry bread.
Here's my story about a powwow treat. A couple times every year when I was a child, yep, that's me, my mom would load my sister and me into the car and drive us to one of the intertribal powwows held in my home state of North Carolina. I remember getting there and getting out of the car to the smell of burning sage and cedar and to hearing the drums beating in the distance. I'd notice all the people there, some people who looked like me, and some people who didn't. Some put the last touches on their regalia as they prepared to dance. The jingle dancers were my favorite. Some people sold handmade jewelry and art, and others watched and clapped as prizes for best dancers were called out by the MC. But it seemed like there was one thing at the powwow that everyone just had to do. We all wanted to eat a piece of fry bread from one of the food stands. At least it felt like everyone wanted to do that because the lines were so long. Fry bread is puffy, chewy, and greasy, and when it was my turn, I ordered it taco style. You could get yours with powdered sugar or honey or just plain too. I ate the crunchy bits off the side first. And even though I'm a grown-up now, I still make the drive to a powwow or two every year, and I always enjoy that puffy, chewy, greasy treat, fry bread. Here's a little more information about my favorite powwow treat. Fry bread has become an iconic symbol in Native American culture. It's often seen as a unifier, enjoyed by tribes and people at powwows across the country. But fry bread can also be seen as a reminder of a painful past. It originated over 150 years ago when the U.S. government forced Native people living in Arizona to make what's known as the Long Walk, a 300-mile journey to relocate in New Mexico. Native people were given commodity foods like flour, processed sugar, and lard, and that's how fry bread was born. When you consider both perspectives, fry bread can be seen as a symbol of resilience and perseverance. Fry bread may have a complicated past, but no matter your views on what it represents, one thing's for sure, it's undeniably delicious. Want to know more? Check out Fry Bread, a Native American family story by Kevin Millard. Make the recipe in the back of the book, or try making your own.
He said that you said, he said, that she said, you said, he said, that she said, you said, he said, that she said, you said, he said. All I'm asking for
Fry bread,
fry bread,
fry bread,
fry bread, fry bread, fry bread.
Deb Haaland, the first Native American woman to preside over the U.S. House of Representatives.
Madam Chair, before I get started, could I ask for a point of personal privilege to have the members of this institution in the gallery recognize you as the first Native American woman to ever chair the House proceedings?
Native Americans were only granted the right to vote in New Mexico 70 years ago. The arc of moral justice is often slow to arrive.
I never imagined a world where I would be represented by someone who looks like me.
The newly elected Congresswoman from New Mexico's 1st District was in Albuquerque in January in the front row at an MLK celebration. A predictable home visit for anyone like her.
But I went door to door for you.
But until this year, no one like her had ever served in the House of Representatives.
Thank you so much.
She and Sharice Davids from Kansas became the first Native American women elected to Congress.
Congratulations.
That was emotional. We're really, honestly, finally sworn in as Congresswomen.